everybody, it's Rhino Racing 4, and as the 2021 NASCAR season has come to a close, I wanted to go back and look at the top 10 paint schemes that ran in 2021 in the NASCAR Cup Series. This excludes throwbacks and patriotic paint schemes. This only includes regular paint schemes that ran regular sponsorships and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with number 10, Chase Elliott in his A-Shock Chevrolet. This car ran at Talladega, and I really like it with the black and the red. I think black and red are the two colors that go together the best on race cars, personally. I love how half of it's black, half of it's red. It has sort of like a line differential right before the 9 on the side. I wouldn't say it's like beyond amazing, but I think this is a very good paint scheme, and it's made the top 10 this year. And then moving on to number 9, we have Denny Hamlin in his Offer Pad Toyota. Now this one, some people might like it, some people might dislike it. I'm one of the people that I really like this, and I really don't have a good explanation of why I like it, but I like it. I love the front of the car is bright orange, the back half of the car is white, and then you have blue numbers. It almost looks like the Lumar paint schemes of Chase Elliott and then Alex Bowman ran when he was in the 88. I like this car. This car won at Darlington earlier this year. I frankly just like the way this car looks on the racetrack, and it's easier to spot with the bright orange. And then number 8 on this list, Kurt Busch's gear wrench. This one was the same as last year for the most part. It is different from the 2019, but the 2020 and 2021 one are pretty much the same. I like the gear wrench. The colors, the orange with the black, makes this car look really cool. And then I think the white line that starts at the front of the car and comes all the way back to the number 1 just adds a lot to this car. This car won at Atlanta earlier this year. I just really like Kurt Busch's gear wrench car. And then moving on to number 7, we have Austin Dillon in his Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet. And this one is changed from last year. I loved last year's, and I have to say I like last year's a little bit more than this one, but this one still, with being number 7 this year, is quite good. The Bass Pro Shop schemes in general are some of the best NASCAR has ever brought to the track, and I think Bass Pro Shops pretty much kills the paint schemes every year. They are awesome at making schemes. And this one, deep black around the entire base of the car, and then on the roof you have a bright orange and then a white number 3. I think just this one looks awesome. If there was a little bit of camo, I think this car would look even better. Like maybe camo on the line that would be behind the 3. So that's the only thing that I could think of to make this car better. But a really great paint scheme for Austin Dillon. And then we move on to Brad Kozlowski, the Freightliner E-Cascadia car. And this one only ran one race at New Hampshire. The deep black one ran most of them. But this one looks so good with the sort of black and navy bluish base and then bright neon blue with almost like a tectonic look. And it looks really cool, and I wish this car would have run more races this year. It looks a lot better than the deep black one, in my opinion. Definitely one of Brad Kozlowski's best paint schemes he's run. And then number 5 on the list is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Sunny D car. And I mean, how can you beat the Sunny D car? You know, I mean, yes, this paint scheme has been in the sport since 2019, and obviously it's on a different car now. It was on the 17 with Chris Buescher last year, and it was with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 17 in 2019, and now it ran a couple races this year on the 47 car. Still the same scheme. It's absolutely beautiful with the blue, the yellow, the orange. They even added an orange juice jug on the side of the car. So I think this one still, it has to be in the top 5, even though it's a third year of this scheme running. It's just so good that how can you not put this in on the top 10? Then moving on to number 4, we have Erik Jones' U.S. Air Force Chevy. This one ran at Bristol this year, and oh my, this looks great. This looks even better, in my opinion, than did Bubba Wallace's U.S. Air Force with the shark teeth, although that one was a really cool scheme. This one has the same gray base, but then it adds the red, the yellow to the front and back of the car, and then a black hood with the Air Force logo with the bright orange numbers on the top. I think this car looks absolutely beautiful. I think the red on the front and back make this car look so much better than was the U.S. Air Force car of Bubba Wallace. Even though that car looked amazing, this car looks even more amazing. And then number 3 on this list is Kevin Harvick in his Gravedigger car. Now this only ran one race, and that was Nashville. And I'm just going to assume that Gravedigger was the sponsor of this car, because it's not a Busch paint scheme. It has Busch on the car, but it's not a Busch paint scheme. This is just a Gravedigger car, and obviously as you see the comparison of the monster truck on the left to the car on the right looks very similar. Obviously there has to be some differences because of the shape of the car versus the monster truck, but this one looks absolutely amazing. It looks so realistic to the one on the side, and this was Keelan Harvick's idea to make Harvick run this. And frankly, it just looks so sick with the purple and the red and the green. It just makes this car look so mean. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get to victory lane, but what a mean looking car that is. And then number 2 on this list has to be the champ, Kyle Larson, in his Valvoline. No, this is not the car that he ran most often. It did win at Bristol, but this paint scheme looks so amazing with the white, the red, with the blue on the Valvoline logo. It seems such a basic paint scheme, but in reality, this paint scheme rules. This is so awesome. And I wish it had run more races. Definitely one of the ones that I want to get from the 2021 season with diecast. It's such an amazing scheme, and I hope he brings it back next year for the 5, because this scheme rocks. And then before we get to number 1 on this list, we have to take a look at some of the honorable mentions from the 2021 season. Corey LaJoie in the 7 with his Skultler systems, if that's how you pronounce that. Kevin Harvick in his Subway. Brad Kozlowski in his Redworth car. We have Ty Dillon in his Bass Pro Shop, so another Bass Pro Shop scheme here in the top list. And then Christopher Bell in his DeWalt car, as well as Denny Hamlin in his Craftsman Toyota. And here we are. We have reached number 1 on this list. Number 1 belongs to William Byron in his Exalta car. And if I have to be honest with you, at the beginning of this season, before NASCAR ever even raced and right when this car was revealed, my first impression of this car, I did not like it very much at all. And over the course of this season, the more I've seen it race, the more I've seen it on track, the more I like it, and now it has reached my favorite paint scheme of 2021. It is beautiful, the different colors. It brings back Rainbow Warrior memories, but at the same time, it seems like they have kept it a William Byron scheme. It has enough Jeff Gordon to remind you of it, but they've kept it a William Byron scheme. I think they really did a good job with that this year. I think the black on the back of this car really sums this thing up and adds just that little icing on the cake, should you say, to this beautiful paint scheme. And I hope it's returning next year. I'm not sure exactly if it's going to be, but I sure hope that it is returning in the 2022 season on the next gen. So that's all of the paint schemes in the top 10 plus the 6 honorable mentions. Those are the top 16 schemes of 2021 in my opinion. Maybe you guys have some different opinions. Love to hear those in the comments. If you want to put those down there, be willing to read those. And until next time, this is Rhino Racing 4 signing off.